Well, hey, everybody. How are y'all doing today? This is the president, the founder of Helping Hands Credit Solution coming in today on our Free Tip Tuesday. Every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, we come in and I talk to you guys about different topics that's very important, and today we're pretty much going to be talking about a budget. A budget is really important, especially now being that you guys are getting stimulus checks, it's income tax time, and then from what I hear, the government is supposed to be giving those who have kids money each month. Then you guys are working. Some of you guys are receiving unemployment, and some of you have like a side hustle. So you have money coming in everywhere. So a budget is very, very important. And so that's why I want to talk to you guys about budgeting, how to budget, some different ways basically of the budget. And what a lot of people don't know is that when you budget, you actually end up saving money. A lot of people don't want to budget because they're like, hey, I don't want to see what I'm spending. But remember, 2021, we are being responsible. So we want to see what we're actually spending so that we can actually manage our money. For those people who want to be homeowners, now more than ever, it is very important to have a budget because you don't want to wait until the last minute to start saving up for your closing costs. You start budgeting ahead of time, right when you're working on your credit. That's actually when you really need to be working on your budget, just to be honest. Again, if you're trying to buy a car or if you're trying to buy a home, because even if you get approved for a car with zero down payment, you still want to have a pretty good budget to where, hey, you can put down 1,000, you can put down 2,000, and that's going to make your payments and your interest even lower. So a budget is very, very important. So for instance, let me give you an example on how I would budget if I am like, let's say that I know in the next, because this is what usually happens. Clients call in, they usually either want a car or they want a home. Now, people usually aren't trying to get their credit fixed for a score. They're usually trying to purchase something. So let's say, for instance, that, hey, you know that in 7 months, you're going to want to get you a new car. Your car isn't doing good. It's already giving you trouble, or you've already put so much money in your car. You're like, hey, I'm tired of putting all this money in my car, right? So as soon as you know that you're actually going to need another car or you are going to want to purchase another vehicle, that is when I would actually start budgeting, okay? Meaning, if I know that I'm going to want to get me a car, right? And I'm not used to having a car note. I'm used to paying everything cash. So first thing I would actually do is I would look to see what kind of car I want. So once I figure out what kind of car I want, then I would actually go and see the price of what the car is. All right. This is all in the comfort of my own home before anybody even knows that I'm looking for a car. All right. So then after I see how much the car costs, I found the car, whatever that I actually want, then I would actually then call my insurance company. Or if I didn't have insurance, because hey, keeping it real, sometimes we just did not have insurance, I would actually go online and then I would actually get an insurance quote. All right. So once I got my insurance quote on how much the insurance is going to be on the car, I already know how much the insurance is on the car, and I already look to see how much the car is going to be. Now, keep in mind that price that you're seeing for the car is not going to include the tax, title, and the license. If you're going to get it financed, that's not going to include the finance charges, all right? So again, this is your budgeting, all right? So this is kind of like a guesstimation because you don't know exactly how much it's going to be. So that's why, again, a budget is very important. So you you call the insurance company, you know exactly how much your insurance is going to be, or you got the quote online. You seen the total price that the actual vehicle is going to be. Good morning, sis. Good morning, everybody. Thank you guys so much for being on. So you've already seen, you have that. So you have those two figures. One, your insurance, okay? And your insurance, they usually give you the premium by 6 months, all right? So don't be surprised for you guys if you haven't had insurance in a while and then you go online and you get a quote and it says $1,800 and you're like, wow, that's just too much. That's usually in a 6 month, over a 6 month or a year. Some of them do have a year. So make sure that you're looking to actually see the term of the insurance. So again, if it says $1,800, all you have to do is divide that $1,800 by 6, and that'll let you know, or by the term. So if the term is 6 months, then you would do it by 6. If the term is 12 months, then you would do it by 12. And that's going to let you know exactly how much money you're going to have to pay on insurance. When you get a car from a car lot, you are going to have to pay full coverage insurance for that vehicle. So make sure that you don't cheat yourself, okay? When you getting that quote or you're looking into that, making sure that you are quoting full coverage insurance, okay? And you also want to make sure that your full coverage insurance actually has the PIP, personal injury protection. Okay, that's very important, all right? Because a lot of people just get full coverage insurance and they're not looking, they don't even know that it doesn't include the PIP, and that is very, very important, all right? So make sure you get that. Also, gap insurance is very important through your insurance company, not the gap insurance that they're offering at the car lot. I'm talking about the gap insurance that you can ask your insurance agent basically about that. And pretty much what the gap insurance is, let me give you an example, okay? So if you wreck your vehicle right now, like if you got a new car or whatever, and you totaled out your vehicle, you're still going to have some type of balance on that vehicle, okay? And with your full coverage insurance and your gap, that's going to cover that to where you're not going to be without a vehicle and still owe money. And that has happened to a lot of people, to where they've totaled out their vehicle and they don't have the vehicle anymore and they need a new vehicle and they still have to pay the remaining balance, whatever that may be on that car, okay? So again, so you know how much your insurance is going to be. You know how much your full cover, you know how much, or around or about how much the car is going to cost. Now keep in mind that the purchase price is going to be different as well depending on where you go and purchase the vehicle. So just because you look online and you see that a car is $20,000 doesn't mean that it's going to be $20,000 at the car lot that you go to or in your area, okay? So definitely keep that in mind whenever you're doing that, all right? So again, so now let's say your insurance, full coverage insurance, let's say that's $250, right? And then let's say that your car is going to be $250, or that's what you added in. That's $500. So you know that $500 a month more has been added in expenses to your household. So you need to make sure that you can afford that additional $500 expense each month. And this is something that I encourage everyone to do, again, because this is something that you can do in the comfort of your own home. This is something that you can actually do without going to a car lot or without going to a mortgage lender, having them running your credit and you being embarrassed, okay? Because it doesn't matter if your credit score is good. If you don't have the correct income, you're going to be denied, okay? So this is something that you can actually do at home. Again, hey, you're doing your own due diligence. You are your own representative is how I look at it. Like, some companies and some people, they get mad, but then I have a lot of other ones, you know, who they respect it because, hey, I'm my own representative. I am supposed to do my own research. Like, I'm liable. I'm signing the contract. And that's how you should look at it. Again, do all this stuff before you actually go up there to the car dealership. So, hey, I know that I need to do $500 a month. Again, that's just the monthly income, right? I mean, that's just the additional expense. We didn't talk about the down payment. So let's say you want your payment to be $250, but the only way that it's going to be $250 a month is if you put a $1,500 down payment. All right. You already know, what did you say? 6 months from now, 6 to 7 months is when I want to get me a new car. So you need to factor that $1,500 on top of the $500 that you're going to have to do each month. Just think about that, okay? And the good part about that is you want to think about, okay, well, if I can come up with the $500 additional a month, and then I'm going to need this $1,500, that's going to put me ahead of the curve, because if I get a house or if I get a car and an emergency or whatever happens, I need to make sure that I have some emergency funds. So if you're not used to budgeting, that is going to be a way to actually help you. All of your extra money and stuff that you get, you actually want to keep tabs of that, and not just spend it. I know how I was before I got into budgeting and keeping up with my finances and stuff. As soon as I got the money, I would spend it, or I would anticipate. So if I anticipated that I was getting $600, shoot, I had already basically spent, if not the whole six, I at least had spent half of that. So when that money had came, shoot, it pretty much was gone. And emergency always came up, so I didn't even have money to cover my emergency, because every money that I did get, I call myself getting things that wasn't important. I ain't even finna lie to you. And I know y'all do the same thing. That's why a budget is important. Another reason why a budget is important, you guys, is because a correct budget, you want to put down every single thing that you are spending your money on or having money coming in on. And you want to look at that, and you want to be able to see, like, dang, I spent $500 at Joe's Crab Shack this month. I spent $3,000, I don't know, on gas or something. I mean, just crazy stuff. And when you actually look at it, then you'll be able to know right there, hey, next month I can cut out that expense. And again, starting a budget is going to be hard. I'm letting you know that now. But it's worth it. It's worth it to actually prepare in the comfort of your own home, to keep it real with yourself, because what a lot of people are actually doing is they're going to that car lots and getting denied, okay, with all those inquiries on there. Or they're going to that they're going to that mortgage lender and not being able to get them a home. They're getting denied. These are things that you can do. This is free. This is not charging you a penny for you to keep a budget for yourself, for you to see where your expenses and stuff are. Even as a business owner, shoot, postage, when we buy those stamps, when we buy envelopes, when we go out to eat, when we get gas, when we pay for services, different things like that. We need to keep track of all of that, okay? Even if you're not giving that to anybody, you still, as your own individual, you still need to keep track of that. Even if you're not a business owner, if you're your own individual, you still want to know where your money is going and how your money is coming in. All right? Because I'm telling you, it would be much easier to be able to look at a budget and say, hey, I'm cutting out eating by $200, or hey, I'm cutting out on going on trips, by $300. You will already be able to see where you can cut off at, as opposed to, dang, now your car done broke down and you need a car. Okay, so now you rushing everybody because you need your car because your car broke down. Or now you in the bind to where your lease is up, so you have to move out of your place. So now you're rushing everybody because you're in a bind because you need a place. I don't want anybody to have that feeling. I don't want anybody to go through that. Okay, so that's why I'm hoping that you guys will take heed now, especially those who are not paying anything to get their credit or anything worked on. They're doing this stuff themselves. Work on your budget right now, okay? Because you'll be able to see what you will be able to cut out. And a lot of people say they can't afford this and they can't afford that. But shoot, let your kid birthday come up, or let your kid get into some type of sport, or let your kid have some type of tournament or something. You're going to come up with that money. So it's the same thing that you need to do for yourself, but you don't want to keep having to come up with the money. You want to be able to have a really good budget to where you're budgeting and you can see exactly where it is that you can cut back on. And I'm telling you, there is no greater feeling than to have a budget to be able to do that. And then when you have a budget, you'll be able to notice when stuff is costing more and different stuff like that. Like when here in Texas, when we had that freeze, my electric bill, some of y'all, a lot of people who I done told this, they're like, that's cheap. It's expensive to me. The electric bill was $180, like almost $200 when we had that freeze. And then this month it's $65. And the month before that, it was like $60. So my electric bill is not usually over $70. So $180 is a lot of money for me to pay for an electric bill. Also, my car insurance, even though it's pretty much on auto pay, I noticed that my car insurance went up. So I had to call them, and ask them, hey, what's going on? Why did my car insurance go up? And of course, it ain't nothing that we did. It's just, it goes up every year, no matter how good of a driver that you are. And that really sucks. That should be like illegal. But no matter how good of a driver you are, your car insurance still goes up. To me, that's just crazy. So I had to end up, me and my husband, we literally had to let him know, like, hey, this went up. So now we have to budget that extra amount on how much the insurance, the car insurance went up. Then the homeowner's insurance went up. So when your homeowner's insurance goes up, then that makes your mortgage go up. All right. So we had to factor that in. And then earlier, last year in December, they sent us a bill and let us know that the taxes they lied about the taxes. They lied and said that the taxes had went up, y'all. And this is another thing. If you don't have a budget and you're not on top of this, you would not have known that. So they said my taxes had went up, so they was making my mortgage go up. So I called the Dallas Appraisal District. Yeah, sure did. Called them about my dang taxes to see what the actual tax rates were. And y'all probably don't even know this, but taxes actually, well, I can't speak for everybody, so let me not state that. But here in my area, taxes actually went down. All right. So I had to call my mortgage company and let them know, hey, I already called, the appraisal district, and they gave the tax numbers, and I ran down the numbers. I'm like, no, this was supposed to go down. So the mortgage end up going down in, February, only for them to send a notice literally the other day, because they state that some money has to be paid by May 1st in order for the mortgage not to go up as much, but it's still going up because the homeowner's insurance has went up. All right. So that's something that we had to factor into the budget. All right. So again, no matter how much of a budget you have, your budget still isn't going to be 100% because you're going to have changes that come up that are not in your control. Companies, every year, they increase the rates no matter what. And then they try to lie. No way, we ain't. Whole nother story. Forgot. Got to stick with this. Anyways, so every year, the prices are going to constantly go up. So you want to make sure that you have like a security blanket to where you will be able to cover that. Okay, so just because, like for instance, if your mortgage is, or if your rent, mortgage, car note, whatever you want to use for this example is, let's say, $300 or whatever a month. Okay, you still want to at least try to put $20 up or something just in case, and that's each time, just like that 300, you need to put up maybe like 20, just in case something happens. Everybody needs to have an emergency fund, and this is something that I tell everybody as well. Okay, when you're budgeting and when you're trying to save on your expenses, things like that, always keep cash and keep a card. All right. Because you never know, you may go somewhere and their ATM is down or their machine is down. I've seen that in a lot of places to where it's down. Okay, so you need to pay cash. Or I've been into places to where they don't accept cash. They only accept cards only. Okay, so you want to make sure that you're actually having both of them. All right. Also, make sure you have some change. This was the best way that I actually learned how to budget and save. Honestly, I had hundreds and hundreds of dollars in change. I would go to the bank. I'm not sure how they doing it now because it seems like they trying to collect coins. So I'm not sure how much change you can get now. I forgot what time we was in right now. So not sure about that, but that's the way that I actually first started learning how to budget and learning how to save, because I was too embarrassed. I was not finna spend bring $50 in change, to pay for something. So that's how I learned to actually start budgeting my money, and then it went, from coins, to dollars, to fives, tens, 20s, to where I was able to save up the hundreds, in the 50s, the bigger bills and things like that. So just start off as slow as possible is what I would tell people. You're not in competition with anybody when you're budgeting, when you're learning how to save, when you're actually learning how to even create a budget. This is something that you can do either physical with notebook, paper, and and pen, or get you a journal or something and you can do a budget in there, or they have like a lot of different electronic apps, or Excel, Google Sheets. So there are different ways that you can do it. Now, Google Sheets is free. Excel, I believe you have to have Microsoft. I'm not sure if that's free or not. But those are some that you can, if you wanted to create your own budget in a spreadsheet, those are ones that you can actually do. And I would recommend that you date them. So don't just be like, hey, I went to the chips, 50 cents. No, put the date, the date that you actually went to get that. And I would actually do my best to try to keep it in order, not skip around, so for the month of April, what is today? April 13th. Today, you can actually start doing this budget today. You can go from April 13th today and put everything, how I pretty much start off the budget is put everything that you spend your money on for that day. Make sure that you put it in that spreadsheet, or you put it in that journal, however you're basically documenting it. And then I would actually keep the receipt as well. I would actually get an envelope and I would put those receipts in the envelope, and on the front of the envelope I would name it by the month and the year. Okay, don't just do April, because I'm telling you, if you're doing the same thing next year, you're going to get it confused when you get ready to put those receipts in for next April. Okay, so you want to make sure that you put April 2021 and just put those receipts in there. So, and at the end of the month, just go back over those receipts and go back over your spreadsheet or your journal just to make sure that you entered in every single data on there. Or if you have like teenage kids or older kids, hey, you can actually pay them to do the data entry or whatever for you. But just make sure that you keep the data entered. Now, if you do it in Excel, or Google Sheets, one of the good thing about them is it doesn't matter what order you actually put it in, that you can actually organize it to where you can make it date specific. So I would prefer, if I were you, I would actually do it, electronically, because there's so much more different changes and stuff that you can do. But if you're not technology savvy, whichever term you want to use, then hey, go ahead and go with the journal or whatever. So thank y'all so much for being on today. I hope that I have given you guys some good tips. Now, homes. Oh yeah, if you are trying to buy a home, let me just let you guys know right now, I got to keep it real, trill 1000, because y'all know this is how I am. Now is the worst time to be purchasing a home. Okay, to sell a home, it is the best time. But as far as buying a home, it is not the best time to buy a home right now. And let me tell you guys why, okay? Especially if you are someone who's like, hey, my lease is up in a certain amount of time and I want to get a home in the next 3 months. All right, there are so many people that are trying to purchase a home that the sellers of the home are no longer covering closing costs. So pretty much you as a buyer are having to come up with all of the closing costs that it's going to cost you to cover that home. The problem comes in right there is because a lot of you guys don't even have enough money to come up with the closing costs, because a lot of you guys are asking about programs that's going to cover your closing or down payment assistance, okay? Do those programs and stuff still exist? Yes, of course they do. But what I'm saying is that they are rare right now, okay, is what I'm stating. Last year, we did not, actually, yeah, before COVID, we really was not having this problem. Actually, sellers was having problems selling their homes before COVID. That's the crazy thing. Sellers was having problems selling it. They couldn't find buyers. Like, people wasn't buying homes before COVID, okay? But now it has flipped, okay? Now everybody wants to get them a home now. Homes that literally people are paying thousands. I've even heard someone paying $10,000 or more than what the seller is even selling the homes for. So you're competing with somebody who is willing to pay $10,000 or $2,000 more than what the seller is actually asking, and you are trying to get your credit score together, or you're trying to come up with your money for down payment. You see how that's going to put you in the back burner right there? That's why I'm telling you guys to get your budget right now today. Start creating that. Start working on that stuff today, so that you can be one of those people that, if need be, you can pay all of closing, or you can offer more money for this house that you actually really want, because you have it in your budget, because you budgeted correctly, okay? And you had enough money in your budget to be able to do that. Another thing, a lot of people who are trying to buy homes right now, I just told y'all about the market, right? So they're paying money to get these houses appraised. They're paying inspectors to inspect these homes. You know, now the money that they're paying for, like the escrow, that they get that back. But the money that they're paying to appraise the home and the inspector, they're not getting that money back. So imagine you pay to get a house inspected, and you get an appraiser so that you'll know if the house is even worth the value, and the inspector to inspect it to make sure that it meets up to par, and you don't get the home. And heaven forbid you got to the point to where you got fed up paying for an inspector and paying for an appraiser, and then you just get a home, and then you move into that home and it has electric problems, or has plumbing problems, or the AC doesn't work. You see? So you don't want to get yourself in that type of position. And then again, even the people who are desperate, the desperate people have money to where they can stand out more. And again, honestly, the only thing that's really making these people stand out is more. I've even heard people having to write letters and create videos to those who are selling homes to pick them and their family so that they can move into those homes. Never have I heard before to where you have to write a letter to the homeowner as to why they should sell you the house, okay? Kind of like an interview. It's like you as a buyer is basically being interviewed by the seller of the homes. I had not heard that happen. I'm only 35, so maybe that happened before, but I had never heard of that happening before, you guys. You basically having to be interviewed to spend your money to buy a home. So with that being said, if you have the bare minimum credit score, you are going to be looked by. If you are just now coming up with money for closing, once you found that home, you are going to be passed by. And let me tell you about that, you guys. Whenever you are looking to buy a home, you need to start putting the money in your bank account and keep it there. Because you cannot, in the last 90 days, once they ask you to submit over your bank statement, you cannot, after you have submitted them over your bank statement at any time thereafter, deposit or withdraw large amounts of money. And they consider large amounts of money usually over $300. So you're not going to be able to wait until you have found a home, you put a bid in on a home, to start putting the money in your banking account. Even if you say that you have cash, they are not going to accept it. Again, you need to stand out. So you need to be able to have that money in there for 6 and 7 months. All right? Not just the 30 days or the 90 days, of you processing in that home. As soon as they ask you for your bank statements, you need to have already had the money in there. I'm letting you guys know that right now. All right. Another thing that can help you guys create a better budget. Any car lot or any mortgage lender that you are considering going through, call them and ask them. Or a lot of things you can do online now. Look to see what the pre-qualifications are. Because a lot of times you can save yourself the embarrassment or the headache by just knowing what the pre-qualifications are. So if the pre-qualifications are you need to have a credit score of a 650 and you're at a 640, don't be trying to go down there to the dang car lot and trying to get you no car. The qualification says 650. All right, so at least be a 670 before you go down there and you try to bargain with somebody and come down there with a deposit. Money down, money that you are going to be putting down on it while you're trying to, do stuff like that. Well, I hope that I've helped you out. If I have given you guys some good news that you can use, please drop me a 2. Please feel free to share this video and any other videos that I do. Definitely check us out on TikTok. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter. And we're also on YouTube. YouTube is where you'll be able to catch up on our videos, what we've actually done. I've done all the videos, so they look the way that they look. Eventually, we'll be able, either I'll become more professional, after time, or I'll be able to hire a professional. But until then, this is what you get, me. Also, check us out on Google. Definitely write us a review if this live has blessed you. You've learned some stuff. You're able to use it. Once you use it and it's actually helped you, please go ahead and write us a review. Thank y'all so much for your time and enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. And I will see you next Tuesday. Oh, yeah. Before I forget, this Saturday we have 2 events. So if you're a lady, one of the events are ladies only, and that's the one that's in downtown Dallas. So if you're a woman, please, please, please come out. We are asking, or the host is asking for you to register for the event, so you can't just show up to that event. And then the other one is at the food truck, the Cedar Crest Food Truck Park, which is going to be interesting because if you know me, you know I love to eat. So definitely come out Saturday with your family. That's going to be pretty much all day. Going to have food, fun, giving out credit tips, things like that. There's going to be so many different vendors at that event, so I definitely encourage you. Our next major event that we're having is actually going to be on June 12th. We are actually going to have a homeless drive, and we're going to be feeding the homeless. Have to get with some of my event planners so we can actually talk to let you guys know where the event is actually going to be and what we need for donation. So if you want to donate, definitely inbox me. And if you want to volunteer, definitely inbox me because we are planning that, creating that today. So again, if you want to help us out, if you know anything about last year, it went down. We actually did it in December. We actually collaborated with other credit repair companies coming together for one cause, basically, which was to take care of the homeless. It was a hit. It was a success. So we're pretty much doing the same thing this year, but we want to do it a little bit bigger. And when we talked to the homeless last year, they said that everybody always comes during November and December. Those are the only 2 months that people come. So we want to do something different, and we want to be able to, come out when other people aren't coming out. So we're going to be doing it June 12th. And again, it is going to be here in Dallas. So mark your calendars because the details are going to be announced, going to be discussed. We would love for you to come out and support. Help us give back, to the homeless, give back to the less fortunate. Everybody down there isn't homeless, but whoever come up and they need something, we got them. So thank y'all for being awesome, for being amazing. Thank y'all for being just so awesome. All right, bye.